It's been a terrible week. There are lots of very serious things happening in the world, with many people figuring out how they're going to exist, both because of climate disasters and because of human-induced pain. However, when it comes to planetary scientists, they are a little bit excited this week because they are trying to figure out how we came to be in the first place. It's an especially productive time at NASA. Not only are the early results from the sample analysis of Bennu out, the agency is also preparing to launch another spacecraft to a very unique asteroid that is located even further away. Let's look at the latter first. By the time this video airs, the spacecraft might have already launched, or it is probably just ready to launch, and that is the Psyche mission. NASA's Psyche mission will journey all the way to a metal-rich asteroid that is orbiting the Sun in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It will go to the asteroid, which is also named Psyche or 16 Psyche. This asteroid is unique in that it seems to have an exposed nickel-iron core. But what exactly is the significance? Many asteroids in the asteroid belt have previously come together to form a planetesimal or early bits that eventually grow on to accrete more material and become a planet. But due to Jupiter's extremely heavy gravitational force tugging at them constantly, they remained rocks and could never complete the process of building into a planet. However, a metallic core indicates that the process had probably begun. The formation of such a core, where all the heavy metals come and settle down right in the center of the body, is called differentiation, and bodies that are differentiated have a discernible core that is separate from the rest of the body. Deep inside our own planet and other rocky planets like Mercury, Venus, and Mars, there exists liquid and solid metal which makes up the core of these planets. However, we can never directly observe these cores because they are deep underground, bang in the center of the planet, which we cannot access with any equipment that we have today. As a result, studying the Psyche asteroid, which began the process of formation of a planet, will give us big clues into the major and violent collisions and accretion processes that created terrestrial planets back in the early days of the solar system. In the process, the mission will also determine if Psyche itself is an exposed core or if it is material that didn't melt at all. The spacecraft will find out the ages of different parts of the asteroid's surface, and as a result, the mission will be able to understand conditions that the asteroid was formed in and whether they were similar to the conditions that created Earth. This mission in the process will also study the planetary cores of other planets. After launch on October 12th, if all goes to plan, the spacecraft will journey for 5 years and 10 months, reaching the orbit of 16 Psyche in August of 2029. It will then orbit this rock for 21 months and is not expected to return any samples. But meanwhile, samples that were returned a few weeks ago have now been processed and preliminary findings are out from NASA. We saw earlier how the OSIRIS-REx mission returned sample, dropped them off at Earth before it moved on to its next destination asteroid. These samples have been retrieved, and for the past 10 days or so, they have been analyzed with some preliminary readings that are out. These samples are from the asteroid Bennu, which is a near-Earth asteroid and doesn't orbit as far away as between Mars and Jupiter. NASA has released the first images of this asteroid sample, which looks like it is made up of black, crumbly, loose rock. And it also has released the composition of the asteroid from preliminary analysis. This asteroid Bennu contains plenty of carbon and water. These findings were announced on Wednesday and Thursday this week, and the sample is the biggest carbon-rich asteroid sample ever returned to Earth, being the third mission to return samples to Earth. The sample contains nearly 5% carbon by weight, which is present in both its mineral and organic form. Water seems to be locked up inside the crystal structure of the minerals that make up the soil or the regolith of the asteroid. Although much more work and analysis is needed to completely understand the sample, these findings made over the last 10 days or so provide more support to the theory that the building blocks of life, the organic molecules required to create life, and water probably came from outside to Earth in the form of asteroids and comets that bombarded our planet. So now, with the analysis of these Bennu samples and this mission to the Psyche asteroid and other future missions we have planned to other rocks, we are yet another step closer to understanding how these space rocks played a role in us coming to be on this planet.